articulation in the upper register, in the extreme upper register. Did you notice the attack, the articulated 16th notes that I did? Very pointed, very clear, very articulated. A nice lot of crisp pop to them, right? And of course, the tongue is responsible for that, along with a little bit of air. That would not be made possible without this. Chops. Okay, and so in this video, you're going to hear a little bit about my opinion on tongue-controlled embouchure, trumpet yoga, Superchops, master Superchops. What's the guy's name? No, I don't know. You know, these names are not all on the tip of my tongue. Bob Civiletti, if I'm pronouncing it right. Of course, the other guy's name is always on the tip of my tongue because he still owes me money. Jerome Callet. So, I'm making this video in response to literally hundreds of people that have commented on my series. If blank is the Holy Grail, why aren't we all doing it? Well, I have an installment in that series from several years ago. If TCE, tongue-controlled embouchure, is the Holy Grail, why aren't we all doing it? And a lot of people did not like my opinion that the tongue-controlled embouchure could work for some, but I rank it as a last resort. And I still hold that opinion, but people didn't really watch the entire video, and they think that I'm just totally down on TC, which I'm not. I'm just saying that there's probably other things to try first. And as a last resort, if you're still having trouble doing what I just did, an octave lower, and believe it or not, raise your hand if most of you would have trouble doing what I just did, but down an octave, 8 BB. See? That's just about everybody. Okay, there's one person sitting over there with his hand down. Well, just about all of you would have trouble doing what I just did, down an octave. You're not even going to think about doing what I just did up an octave. And I got to be honest, I'm not even all that warmed up. So what you just saw me do was pretty much cold. So let's talk a little bit about why you came to watch this video, because I mentioned in this video we'll talk a little bit about TCE, trumpet yoga, Jerome Callet, this Bob Civiletti. There's another person that said, what do you know about Richard so-and-so? He's a guy over in Britain. I don't know too much about him. But I did try to get some of his stuff, and I've gotten, in the past, of course, free. I got a lot of stuff from Jerome Callet as he was recruiting me to kind of represent the Callet trumpet. And we're not going to really go into a lot of that because it's kind of negative, actually. Especially I still have kind of a bad taste in my mouth about the fact that the guy still owes me quite a lot of money. And notice I'm looking right into the freaking camera and not blinking on that one, baby. He still owes me several $1,000s, but he's dead now, so what can you do, right? He's passed away, so we're not going to go into a lot of negativity about this guy. But his method and the other folks that have tried to expound on the trumpet yoga from back in the 70s, and then I think he came out with the master Superchops. That's kind of when I kind of came on scene, when he started contacting me back about 10 years ago. There's some merit to some of that. In fact, every now and then I do a little spit buzzing myself. Now, I don't do TCE, but there's some hardcore action on the tongue and the whole face setup to spend about a minute doing this. You watching my tongue? Every now and then I'll do that because it really gets the tongue exercised, puts a lot of force on it, a lot of torque. And anyway, I've had all kinds of questions, some of them derogatory, some of them neutral, some of them positive comments about my opinion about TCE. And anyway, so if you go back and watch a video, you'll notice that I'm not 100% against it. I'm just saying that it might want to be your last resort. I mean, it could work for you. Just like a lot of these methods, the Stevens could work for you. You know, that embouchure set, upper, you get the upper airstream hitting the top part of the bowl of the mouthpiece, and you're dropping the mouthpiece a little bit lower to accommodate that. That could work for some of you. It's not going to work for all of you. The other one too, the people are trying to compare, at least I think maybe incorrectly, the Maynard-Ferguson protocol and the TCE. I don't think they're the same thing. I think there's something to do with the lips are, I guess, unfurled, possibly in both, I believe. The TCE has unfurled lips because they want your tongue to come through, so your tongue is not locked up against your throat, blocking off a lot of the air and the power. And I believe that's kind of the premise of the TCE, and it could hold true that the MF protocol might be like that. So again, as I have said before, the MF protocol, I don't believe it's going to work for most people. But you might as well try it, because what if it works for you? It could be just a complete miracle pill and holy grail for you. So same thing with TCE, but you know, since I have, like Jerome Callet, in case you don't know, he just passed away. And I just heard about that. Jerome Callet just passed away, aka known as Jerry Callet. I guess he goes by Jerome Callet, Jerry Callet. He just passed away. And so, like I said, I'm not going to go into a lot of negativity. I'm going to try to make it either neutral to slightly positive. So he did have some innovations when it comes to using the tongue. And I don't believe the TCE method and my tongue arch method are that far apart. Let me move up a little bit closer. I was kind of doing this in the mirror. Now, I'm not able to see myself in the camera right now, so I don't know exactly where I'm at, because I'm using the opposite camera on my phone just to get a little bit more high definition. But you know, TCE, if I remember correctly, even with the spit buzz, the tongue is through the teeth, right? Like that. And then you curl the tip down to your lower lip, like that. And that's kind of like the formation of the TCE. And you know, I'm not a TCE expert, as you already know and can tell, but I think that's probably pretty close. And maybe somebody who only does TCE could correct me if that's not right. But basically you're going to have your tongue through your teeth, through. Now the top part of your tongue will be touching the sharp edge of your top teeth. Then it curls down. That tip kind of rests or anchors on the bottom lip. Okay? And you have your kind of aperture between your tongue and the teeth, so to speak. Now, watch how closely and not far removed that is from how I play. So, how I play, now this is above, let's just say above the staff. I don't play like this down on low G's or low C's, but once I get above the staff, my tongue does not anchor on my bottom lip. The anchor is just like 1/8 of an inch in front, right on the cutting edge of the bottom teeth, actually a little bit behind. So watch. See how close that is to TCE, okay? Watch again. TCE, and my way. Can you see the difference? Watch one more time. TCE. Now I'm not arching my tongue up to create the friction with the cutting teeth. I'm just trying to show you for demonstration purposes. TCE. Tip. Line. You see there's hardly much difference, right? The tip of my tongue is actually anchored right at the cutting edge of my teeth and a little bit behind. Here. Versus TCE. Here. There. Here. What is that? Maybe 1/8 of an inch? Maybe? Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Not a big difference. The problem I have with TCE years ago when I was messing around with Callet, because he wanted me to kind of be a poster boy for his Callet SEMA trumpet, and we're going back almost 10 years ago. And he wanted me able to do a little bit of TCE, and which I tried, which is just not my cup of tea. But anyway, I did mess around with it. He sent me a lot of free DVDs. He sent me all his master Superchops, and he sent it all on the house along with mouthpieces and everything else to get me to come over to his side. So I gave it a try, but here's one of the problems with, in my opinion, with TCE. The lower lip does most of the vibrating when you're playing the horn, I think through all registers. When you do TCE, what you're doing is you're essentially kind of cutting out the lower lip, and you will notice, you don't have to take my word for it, you will notice that your tongue is vibrating. Look at me and watch me buzz with TCE setup. A lot of the buzz action and vibration is happening right on the tongue. Now maybe that could be good, that could be bad, that could be neutral. In my opinion, it's not necessarily the best. I want all this to be vibrating here, the lower lip. So there's that. You try it enough, and if you get it down, you'll find that the buzz and the vibration, a lot of it is happening on your tongue and not your lower lip. So I think that has some impact on tone and control. The other thing is, people that do the Jerome Callet way, TCE, I feel, based on what I've heard and seen, that they can probably play pretty high and pretty loud. I don't necessarily think that they have the finesse and the control and the dynamics and the sweetness down lower and in the middle register. And when you're playing dolce and cantabile, those very singable sections, especially for you classical people, I'm not sure TCE is the way to go for that unless maybe you perfect it. I guess you'd really have to work a lot on it so that when you're employing this method of playing, that you are able to sound sweet and be able to play very softly with a good tone and control, intonation. So anyway, I brought this up because Jerome Callet just passed away, I heard recently. He must have been close to 90. Had to be. I mean, he had to be. He was 80 something when I was dealing with him. So he had to be 90 or maybe 90 plus. So he lived a long, long life, and lucky him. He lived a very long time. And so anyway, I'll keep an open mind about trumpet yoga, master Superchops, and these guys that are still surviving. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go back and see if I got their names right, but the one guy, Bob Civiletti, don't know him personally. Personally, don't think I've ever interacted with him. Maybe. I just know that he's pretty good with all the Baroque stuff, especially the high Baroque trumpet, and of course he employs tongue-controlled embouchure. Of course, I just mentioned Jerome Callet passed away, so he was kind of the head honcho there. And there may be some others. I guess there's a younger, newer guy over across the pond, over in England, Britain, somewhere. His name is Richard. Can't remember his last name. But he's kind of like the representative across the pond over there for tongue-controlled embouchure. So, I'll keep an open mind. I try to keep an open eye. That's how I was able to review all this stuff, I've gone through just about every course and every method that you could think of. If you think of a method that maybe I don't know about, or you think I don't know about, go ahead and drop it in the comment section, and I'll let you know if I've already gone through it and if it had any merit, any value, what I decided about it. So that's my little take on, again, not the only one, on tongue-controlled embouchure, trumpet yoga, master Superchops, and then they have some German names that I don't remember. Should I even try to attempt it? Eins Heissen, or now we're into Comedy Central, right? Because I'm just going off the top of my memory. I don't speak German. I don't use those German words. But anyway, like I said, use it as a last resort. So if you've tried a lot of different things, you could go ahead and give the TCE a try. I don't think that you're going to find it to be a miracle pill. Excuse me. I don't think that you're going to find that you just work on it for a week or two and all of a sudden you're just going to be a complete beast on the trumpet, in the upper register, or even trombone. This probably might apply for a lot of brass instruments. I don't know about tuba, but probably definitely for trombone and maybe even euphonium. But so yeah, I don't think it's an overnight sensation. And remember, there is still only one holy grail right now that we all know of, and it's the 16-week brass and trumpet upper register course. It is proven without fail. It works, but only if you follow my instructions to the T without deviation. And if you do that, it is the holy grail for brass playing. There's only one right now proven that way. The other ones work for some people, but don't work for most. Let that ring in your head. Almost all methods, except for the 16-week course, work for some people, a few people, and it works very, very well, but they do not work for most. So let that ring in your head, except for the 16-week upper register course. And it's proven, not by me. Well, I prove it because I'm a poster boy for it and it has helped me, but proven by all the people that have gone through it and had tremendous success to decent success. So, you wanted to hear a couple more articulated high notes? What's that? I already did some articulation in the upper register. Again? Yeah, okay. I guess I can do a couple more. What should we do? Take one out of the Arbenz book? Yeah, we could. I'm trying to think of one out of the Arbenz book here. There we go. I could probably do that one.